Have you ever felt like you're doing everything right, visualizing, affirming, journaling, and yet nothing seems to move? You follow every manifestation method you've learned, but your outer world still looks exactly the same. If that sounds familiar, it's not because you're doing something wrong. It's because your subconscious mind is still tuned to the same version of you that existed before your desires appeared. Let's explore this deeply today. Because once you understand how your mind truly works, you'll realize that the power to shift timelines, to rewrite your life, has been inside you all along. You see, your subconscious doesn't create based on what you consciously want. It creates based on who it believes you already are. It's not reacting to your goals or dreams. It's reacting to your internal identity, the self-image it has accepted as true. That identity acts like a signal, constantly transmitting to the universe, shaping every experience, reaction, and decision you make. Most people live their entire lives from an identity built long ago, one that might have been formed through repetition, fear, or survival. This identity becomes the foundation of their default timeline. Even when they visualize a better life, they wake up thinking, feeling, and reacting as the same person. That's why it feels like nothing's changing, because their subconscious keeps selecting the same version of reality over and over again. Let's look at how this works. Your brain doesn't perceive reality directly. Everything you see, hear, and touch is filtered through electrical signals and neural patterns that your subconscious interprets based on what it already believes. It's not processing what's truly out there. It's processing what it thinks is out there. So, when your subconscious is anchored to an identity that says, "I'm still waiting for my breakthrough," it filters reality to match that belief. It literally edits out opportunities, ideas, and coincidences that don't align with that version of you. That's not magic, that's neuroplasticity in action. Your brain is constantly wiring itself to mirror the person you practice being. The more you repeat a thought, an emotion, or a reaction, the stronger that neural identity becomes, and your subconscious protects it, even if it's keeping you stuck. Because to the mind, familiar equals safe. So the real work of manifestation isn't about attracting something outside of you. It's about aligning the inside of you, your subconscious identity, with the version of you who already has what you're asking for. When that alignment happens, the rest unfolds naturally. Here's what most people miss. You don't have a manifestation problem. You have an identity mismatch. You've been trying to manifest new outcomes while holding on to an old version of yourself. The key is not to force change, but to gently retrain the mind to recognize a new self-concept, one that matches your desires. So let's imagine your subconscious mind as a kind of internal compass. This compass constantly points you toward what feels familiar, not necessarily what's true. Right now, it might be pointing you toward old emotions, doubt, hesitation, unworthiness. Those feelings don't define you, they just define your current orientation. The good news is, you can shift this compass at any time. Your subconscious doesn't care about what's true. It cares about what's repeated, what's felt vividly, and what's emotionally charged. That means the moment you start embodying a new state, even before external results appear, your brain begins to rewire. It starts accepting this new signal as your default. Think about it. Every great transformation begins internally. You can't step into a new reality while dragging along the energetic blueprint of the old one. So, the first step is to recognize that the old self, the one who doubted, delayed, and second-guessed, was simply a practiced identity. And just like any habit, it can be replaced. Here's how we start. Imagine for a moment that you're standing at the center of a circle, a 360-degree field of possibilities surrounding you. Every direction on this circle represents a different version of you, one filled with hesitation, one with confidence, one with clarity, one with abundance, and infinite others in between. Now, ask yourself, which direction have I been unconsciously facing every day? If your life has been repeating old patterns, chances are you've been oriented toward the familiar version of you. But here's something powerful. You can choose a new direction anytime you want. You can choose to face the version of you who already knows their worth, who already feels aligned, who already lives the life you're calling in. The subconscious loves symbols and emotion. So to reorient your mind, don't just think the new thoughts, feel them. Let your imagination show you the energy of that new you. How do they carry themselves? How do they speak, breathe, move? What kind of people surround them? What does their daily life look like? The more vividly you sense it, the more your subconscious begins to accept it as your new home frequency. And yes, it's normal for the old identity to resist. It might whisper things like, "This isn't real," or "You've tried this before." That's just your mind protecting what it knows. But every time you acknowledge the new identity instead, even for a few seconds, you weaken the old program. Eventually, it loses its pull completely. You don't need to cut cords, burn bridges, or fight your mind. You only need to redirect your focus, consistently, consciously, and compassionately. Each time you affirm a new sense of self, each time you choose a more empowered thought, you're sending your subconscious new instructions. This is who I am now. Let's make this real with an example. Imagine someone who has always struggled with self-worth. They start affirming abundance and success, but deep down, they still feel undeserving. So their subconscious keeps filtering life through that old identity. They might miss opportunities or push them away, not because they aren't available, but because their inner compass isn't pointing toward that reality yet. Now, the moment they begin to feel deserving, to embody worthiness before proof arrives, everything begins to shift. The brain starts scanning for evidence that matches this new state. They begin noticing synchronicities, new chances, supportive people. It's not that the world suddenly changed, it's that their perception expanded. That's what true manifestation really is. Perception catching up to your intention. Your mind doesn't need years to change. It responds instantly to the energy of certainty. The more consistently you return to your new identity, through thought, emotion, and choice, the faster the rewiring happens. The subconscious loves repetition, and it rewires through experience, not logic. So you don't have to convince yourself intellectually that you're abundant or loved. You just have to keep acting, feeling, and deciding like the person who already is. Remember, the subconscious follows what's familiar, not what's best. So your job is to make the new you familiar. Practice that energy daily. Speak from it, walk like it, see through its lens. And as you do, your outer world will begin to echo your inner shift. The science behind this is simple. Neurons that fire together wire together. The more you think, feel, and behave from a new state of being, the stronger that neural pathway becomes. Eventually, the old identity fades into the background. You stop needing to try to manifest. It becomes who you are. And here's something even more liberating. You can change your self-image as often as you want. You're not stuck with one version of yourself. You can evolve as many times as it takes. The universe isn't testing you. It's responding to the signal you broadcast through your self-concept. So today, let's set an intention. To live from the version of you that already has what you seek. Let that version take the lead. Notice how they think, how they choose, how they respond. Then, throughout your day, ask yourself, which identity am I operating from right now? The moment you shift that, your reality begins to follow. Because reality doesn't manifest from desire, it manifests from identity. You can't become something you don't believe you already are. The process is not about attracting, it's about remembering. You're remembering the higher version of you that already exists beyond the filters of fear, doubt, and time. Your mind is infinitely adaptive. It doesn't care about your past. It only listens to your present energy. So when you choose to identify as the person who has already arrived, your subconscious has no choice but to update the world around you to match that truth.